Right, I thought about time I put this back on video because the missing video with me doing this is still missing. So I thought if I don't do this, it's going to become silly. So I've started the two workers going, and it's going to take them a while to get that done anyway. So I'm going to leave them pulling the spuds whilst I show exactly. I've already got the level right where you do the adjustment to that trolley so that the wheels are all down, because you can have them where it's like up and down. You can see that that's not way too high, so you have to adjust it. The wheels need to touch the ground equally, just gently, otherwise it does do weird things, which is you would expect. So now I need to unfold it, and I'll show you how easy it is with a non-literal brain of exactly what Milk Like Hen does. Literally grab the last one, you can see me selected that particular one, drop that off, move forwards a touch, grab the second to last one, drop that off, move forwards a touch, grab the third one, drop that off. Oh, not quite enough. Okay, yeah, not quite far enough away not to grab it. Yeah, that's it, it's gone. Drop it, move off, and that's, you would leave that, you would have done that in a shed. So the bottom one is now in reverse, go back, so that now this is the tricky bit. Although I've adjusted it, it's still a little bit willful, it really is. It's not so, maybe I've adjusted it too much. Let's have a look. Is that lifting? It's hard to say. It's just we need to is that grabbing the right one? No, it's not. So we need to grab the right one. And this is what I did find. This is why I stuck to my guns in one of the episodes to say still not 100% convinced in that, where it does that as well. Yeah, this is really, I find it very willful. It's right. Okay, that's not going to help. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't go where you want it to. And I ever tried both. You can get it better. Milk Like Hen is definitely right about that, but it's still not perfect. It's way too hard for most people to get right, or to want to learn the exact foibles, because that to me is perfect. I'm on the ground, it should be, but there's still a bit of taut. It's still a little taut and still wants to go exactly where it wants to go, which no mod should be that difficult to do, which is why I stick to my guns. It's easy to do in the shop, and it would remain that way forever, an entire session. And I will use this, I do like it, but it's that, look at that, it just literally goes exactly where it wants. It is awful. As I say, I have got it, last time I got it better than this, but it does still do what it like, and it does wander across. It really is very, let's try that, let's see if that's, no, it still wants to go where it, the trouble is, the other thing is, I'm going to say, we have issues with this tractor with equipment. Is this the perfect one? It's just the others are both in play, but again, I would imagine that is, hang on, is this me? Have I? It is me, yes. That does produce extra. I'm glad I've showed it though. I know it is me, but that's exactly the type of thing that I'm on about. One thing that you forget to do, there isn't you can't use this piece of equipment, you need to fold it, or there's no warning that would sort of think, oh, I've not done sort of quite right, or you know what I mean. And especially the very first time, that's better. It is actually that I can actually. So I think I'm gonna have to do the other trick, which is, although no, because then I can't. Right, I know what I need to do. Right, I need to drop the last one off so that I can let it. Still, yeah, still is a little not wanting to go where you want it to go, and it's not like I don't have hours of experience on knowing how to use equipment. It's one thing as a content creator, you do spend a lot of time with equipment. You might not be the best. I would imagine there are, like in anything in life, there are naturals. Right, we're on the right one. That's the wrong order. That's at this end. That makes no sense. Anyway, yeah. stay straight. Yeah, nothing should be this hard. I think that is the right one. Yeah, and this time I have got everything right, so even the tension's not bad, but you can see it is willful. Right, so can I get it to go that way? No, it's fighting me. Okay. I'm glad it is though, in a way, but it doesn't want to go that way. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, not only is it difficult, but I find none of us like stressful situations. It produces a bad memory in your head, and then you don't want that experience again. Any modder that produces a good mod, where it's easy to use, is got a recipe for success. Any modder that produces a mod that is difficult and also produces a stress reaction in a human brain is asking for trouble, because people don't want to use it. You don't want that stress again. You might not even associate it as that, but that's exactly how it works in your head. It truly is. One thing I have studied quite a lot is human psychology. Yeah, and also I am a human myself, so know that I don't like such situations. So, going forwards, it is a cracking bit of kit that's very reasonable, but I am going to have multiple ones of these trolleys because I am not going through that. Not every single time. So as far as I'm concerned, that's made up now, and I need another trolley for the one good thing I will say is actually moving the individual bits of kit. Now that is nice, and they're all 3-point links, so you can actually put them wherever you like. Now that is good. It's just the moving of the trolley itself that is not nice. It isn't. The trolley, as Milk That Hen showed, it can be done, especially on perfectly flat with the, although I've got to be honest, you can see these fields are very flat, so this obviously the texture, I do think that probably does something. A road may have perfect texture for like non-traction, non-resistive, whereas this may have physics where where the stalks do have a resistance, which then moves things around more. So again, on the car park down at the shop, we may have a different sort of thing. Right. Now this next bit is, I may do a little bit off camera. I'm going to leave these going. I tell you why. This is not. Oh, don't see why. I'm not. No. I'm not really. You know me only too well. I'm not bothered about whether I look silly or not. I don't take myself too seriously. So we can shift everything around. Will we need that? I think it'd be useful. Yeah, definitely to go straight into this, and it is our biggest trailer. This is an absolute asset, so I think so. And the other thing is, let's grab that water thing here. We've got to keep up with that, because it's quite a few. I am quite liking that. I'm just not sure about the... I think you're going to need a potato off the ground roller. I don't know that a normal... I was saying this in Attingham about the belt system is met. Obviously in real life, if that was going to pick things up off the floor, it would pick up anything off the floor. It's, yeah, that's real life. In Farming Simulator, things tend to be made for a specific purpose, and belts are definitely like that. The belts work with belts, and yeah, if you start to put a box in the way, which is weird. I tried it with the and it may have worked with the Joskin. I tried it with the Transporter, which is it's a funny one. It would work with pallets, but a Joskin box, my usual. Now that may have worked. You may have seen it as a trailer. Now we know obviously belts are supposed to go into trailers. Now the Transporter it didn't work with. I tried to put it under a belt, or under the belt, and that, yeah, it didn't like it. So again, everything has got specific uses, whereas in real life it would work because it is a box. Right, you need to be on the right one. Right, so we'll just drain this one, and then we're going to fill it up again, and then we're going to get cracking on camera of me trying to literally grab this with a belt system. I'm hoping it's going to work. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the field to be finished actually. To go into a time lapse to get the potatoes all literally ready and then try this, I think that's probably the best way. I reckon now then they're going to hit each other at one time. quite sure. I'm on Stone Valley because of the missing episode, and I wanted to get the 4 Schritt coupling trolley bit in this video, without any more distance between the videos. Because it is a couple of sessions on. I put the link into Milkbat Hen's video in the video where I mentioned it, because it is such a cracking video. It is a very high quality how-to guide, which I did say to him. It is. Ooh. Why is that not letting? I was going to say, now did that feel? Was that completely fit? It was. Right, smashing. Yeah, so let's shift this as well. It's annoying me in editing. I come in editing and I think that thing, why didn't you put it away? It's true, I'm a terror. I've said that so many times. I'm trying to get better. But it's yourself. I have said that as well. I am messy by nature. I am. So therefore things don't bother me that would bother other people. And this is one of them. Yeah, it does annoy me because it's impractical, but it doesn't annoy me because it looks. I don't have that kind of brain where that worries me at all. Yeah. I do have, it's funny I say that, but on Farming Simulator I have a little OCD about fields and brown marks and stuff like that, so I suppose, there's bits when I do have, right, I thought we'd have a clash at some point. I did. Were both stops? No, just this one. Well, no, it's not stopped, he's still in it. Right, let's try that again, at least we know where he got to. In fact, you know something? With all the faffing around they do, I'm going to do this bit myself. I'm trying to get into better habits with zooming. I do think the detail is lost when you are so high up, as I often am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this field, stop recording whilst the actual harvester catches up, and I'm going to set the belt system up on the field, because we all know it's how faffy it is with belt systems, and I want it to be quite clear on what we're trying to sort of show. So yeah, I'll finish this off very quickly, then I'm going to stop recording whilst the potato harvest. I know it's not my normal sort of thing, but it's more important. I think the most important thing this session is the setting up to see if the belt system is going to work, and I'm going to have a bit of a practice, and if it doesn't, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the shop, grab the right, I think there is a potato one now. If it is that, I'll go down the shop, lease that, and yeah, let's not destroy. Oh no, you can't. I was lucky. I did actually go through them. I was unsure whether this would tear the potatoes to pieces, which in real life it obviously would. But thankfully, that is one good thing about Farming Simulator. Yeah, as I say, that's one of the good. Because this thing, if the potatoes were on top, would shred them, because that's its purpose, to shred the things on the top. So yeah, luckily it doesn't. Right, let's lift. Let's grab these little bits that missed, the corner bits. Then I'm going to stop recording for a little bit while that cracks on. Well, that takes a long while to drop down. We could buy this. We could. But I do know they do often come up in sales, so I am holding off, and if it doesn't by the next time we need to do a topper. The other thing is I wouldn't mind investigating that other piece of equipment from the Grimmy pack that says it's, because I'm not sure I didn't misunderstand. In editing I think what I should have done was actually got both pieces of equipment and turned it more into a bit of a mod review, where we actually looked at it in quite a mod review style and showed both pieces of equipment, and then obviously giving myself the money back because it was more about a mod review. But again, that's my finely tuned not wanting to cheat mechanism in my head. Yeah, I've got to get a bit more out of that. I am sort of going away from some of my first ideas as a content creator, because a bit like the shop, like we did a couple of with the Merlot in the shop. I think that's not a bad thing. It was something I saw Frithgar do, and he was having an internal wrangle with the viewers. Right, I'm going to put this on the side, and I'm going to give the shop a ring. to actually come and fetch it. I am. Which I don't believe is too unbelievable. Now then, yeah. Yes, let's not get a bit cheeky with our neighbours, or destroy the equipment from the shop, or they won't like leasing to us in the future. Absolutely. Right, let's just go behind our tent. Don't to be going on the potatoes for realism. Yes, although yeah, he says that. I am going to have to, in a way, to get on the field with the belt system. But yeah, again, game mechanics. I have no control over that. Right, so then, I am now going to stop the recording for a little while, and I'm going to get this little lot on the fields. I am. So, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to wait. Again, like I said, because I can't really do... Well, I suppose I could have to go around the edges. I'm going to stop recording right now, and then I'm going to have a bit of a test with the fronts. Once I've got everything in place, I will start the cameras again, just to show even proof of concept. Does it work, or am I going to go down to the shop and pick up the potato off the ground, pick her up? So, yes, I am going to see you shortly. I've never not shown a repair yet, or I don't think I have. Yeah, I always say that because it is true. Let's repair the Grimmy. Oh, actually, that needs repairing as well. Okay. I do. And yes. Fantastic. Yeah, literally sort of stop again, but I wanted to show you that because obviously we bought this one. It's fantastic. I love this bit of kit. It's fantastic. So, yeah. It's seconds after I start recording. Typically, of course, I grabbed this. It was the first belt that I actually got out because you got to unbend it and all that. So yeah. Right, I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to start the cameras again once I've got this all set up and working. So I'm going to see you shortly, or in my case, longly. Just in case, I wanted to switch the cameras on at the second that we turn the belt on, just to see, because if it lifts the potatoes off, then it is going to work, which it does. Excellent. Right, I'm going to switch the cameras off again. Now we know it's that belt, the floor pickup is going to work. And yeah, the rest is then us using the quantum to get into the middle of the field and moving this, because as we know, the pickup from this is excellent. So it's, yeah, I just thought, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do this, and we know it's got a grand, well, it has got a grand pickup for chaff, as I know myself. I can literally, well, you saw it on this very one at the bottom, it doesn't half have a great reach, so if it does, it's not going to be too bad to this. It's going to be a faffy. We all know belt systems are faffy, setting them up, moving them, but hopefully I'll only have to move it, which is why I want this to finish properly before properly do this. But I thought I'd just show this quickly, this particular section. Right, I'm going to stop the cameras whilst we get the rest of it set up. Now we know that this bit is going to work, so I'm going to see you shortly. Just thought I'd show this bit. We seem to, yeah, the Case International seems to have quite a few problems with quite a bit of equipment. Yeah, no matter how much you back this up, it doesn't get the connect sort of thing on this. So yeah, I'll not be using this for yet another piece of equipment. May have to swap this out. I may have to. Yeah, it is the first time I've used it. I've wanted to use it a few times, which is why I thought this time, yeah, let's give it sort of pride of place in the Let's Play as one of the starting. Well, it was on. I think it was on. Let's have a look. Yeah, I've sent the shop. I've picked up the. Is it 145? 70 months. So definitely, yeah, it is. Or have we been here 5 years? I don't know. We have gone through quite a few years. I can't remember if that was the one that we bought new because it was very reasonable. Was it the first one? Or I'm not sure. I know we did get some good ones in the sales, but yeah, it's played up a lot on a lot of equipment now, and it's. Yeah, you see that does gets the attach, and I've been very close to, just in case it was me. So right, it should work straight away. Yeah, smashing. So proof of concept is that is definitely working. I am quite pleased. Yeah, I've done the quantum, got that ready as well for extending it. That's this. Yeah, there are those Mark IIs that are faster, much faster, that I did try on one Let's Play and it didn't work. It was very close to being released, but this is where going into a mod review is not a bad idea for you, for like showing people that type of thing, the belt systems, especially the Mark IIs, to see if it has been improved truly. I'm beginning to come round to the... I see that's what it's cleared. That's not bad. Not bad at all. No, the shifting around of both. And in fact, actually, I would say if we turn that around, we should probably, and also get into a good enough place like that it should actually do a little bit, because we know how good the pickup is on these. It's amazing. So I don't think we'll be shifting too much, but obviously we'll be going on to the field itself. I didn't want to get in the way. Now looks like the John Deere's not far off. Perfect. Not far off finished is an understatement. I like that. I think that is absolutely amazing, the harvester. I wouldn't mind using the other one, so not sure whether... I think this time we will ask the store to pick this up, and I might try that other one next, because we are going to go into potatoes, and we shall see if that other one is a harvester without a... or whether it literally... in fact, you know... yeah, tell you what, we're going to do it now. We are... because it said it picks up for the ground. Oh no, but then I'm doing away with the belt system, and I've done that for... tell you what, we'll do it next time, we will. Right, okay, I am going to stop recording for a bit while I shift the equipment a little bit more into the field. At least proof of concept, we can see this works, the belt system, so yeah, it's belting, definitely. Right, so I am going to stop recording for a little bit while we shift this. We have, yeah, reached our limit. Well, I don't think we have. We could, I would say, get this little bit here as well, because I want to move this as little as possible. I want this to be... let's get that a little bit manoeuvred a little bit better. Yeah, and see if we can drag those last little bits of that. And then I think 6 or 7 times shifting this lot around, and we probably will get it off. So, yeah, as soon as this stops, I'm going to stop the recording, which is right now. I'm going to shift it, and I shall see you again shortly. I was going to do this off camera, but I thought this is... sometimes all sessions go into a bit of a mod review, because this is where people find out about productions if they didn't know about it. So yeah, let's go in there. Right, first thing we need to do is find there's 2 potato products as premium and French fries. So let's have a look which one is the better value. Also, pig food comes from the other one. Not that we've got pigs at the minute, but if that farm is pig food, then that's not a bad idea. So it's going to be one of the almost last ones, because this seems to... 549 300. Let's have a look at the recipe to see what the best recipe is, because the drinks ones actually do represent better value, and because it's 10 times the amount. It's very slow, but it's a slow good trickle of money. So I want to see the same with the French fries and the premium potatoes, what the actual thing is. It's 5 and 5 produce 4 and 2, okay, and 5 produce 4, so there's a loss of 1 no matter what way you look at it. So that also produces a byproduct of, and was the better price if I remember rightly. Premium 549, a lot higher, almost double, and there's not much difference. So I think we're going to go premium potatoes and also produce pig food. So let's have a look. Activate that, and are we going to sell them direct? Let's check the price again. Let's have a look for the seasonal. Yeah, how no, it's not what we're looking for at all. We are looking for that. Yeah, let's check these. Again, yeah, it's a very narrow window of things, so we will do, yeah, let's sell it. Sell it directly, because it's not one of those that goes up high, or yeah. Premium potatoes selling. I do like these kind of products that do that, where they've not really got a high or a low. Alright, I did one load of that at the same time. I've shifted that, so it's just a matter of switching that on and moving the trailer, and that should actually pick up. So let's be clever. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in the case, because it's not working with normal equipment. Now that is really quite bad. I don't think I've ever had a tractor, even a modded tractor. Sometimes issues with follow me and things like that. but not with the actual function of the tractor itself. I've never not known that. It's definitely different. Didn't do badly. Did get quite a bit of potatoes off the field. That trailer's not badly filled. Yeah, the one thing I'm going to say, the vintage auger pack, it doesn't, on the field, it doesn't like turning. I had to nudge it with the tractor. It just went straight. Yeah, I mean, it does move normally. 12 tons, not bad. But it does not like, yeah, it didn't like moving on the field, the stippling of the field, which is bad. It should move a little. It just literally stayed straight, and I had to nudge it finally back in place. And it almost was straight anyway. It just would not shift. So, yeah, something to watch out for on a field like this. Right, have I not switched you on? Or is that not quite in range? No, it was. It needed nudging. Right, so, yeah. Am I going to go into a bit of a time lapse? I think that's not a bad idea, because there's going to be bits of this that are really quite boring because of the shifting of the belts. I don't know whether to... Yeah, I might actually... No, let's not do a time lapse. What we're going to do is I'm going to start recording for the bits where I move the belts. That makes more sense to me. Do we stick the quantum in now to give this extra reach? So we just put this quantum in. I don't know. Actually, looking at this, I think to keep it to the 2 belt systems is probably the best. Just, it's less to move. Right, let's jump in that. There's going to be quite a bit of moving, I think, to get the width bit correct. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Love the pickup on this. Yeah, I think we can get quite a long way with the other bit. I'm just going to stop any second. And we're going to grab this. Do as much this way as we can. I think it's not going to take too long to do, other than at the speed of the actual belt system itself. See how far that goes. Not going to take me long to do this, so that is true. That's filling up quite nicely. Oh wow, it is actually. Nice, doing a cracking job. Let's see if we can go a bit more that away then. Again, jobs like this, you doing things like this, it's all about a matter of trial and error until you get it right. You never learn how to do something just straight away without having a bit of a faff around, a bit of a play, will you really? But never really ever thought about doing potatoes, but then again I don't think we've had those swather ones where it leaves it on the surface. It does become a real good way of doing things. Right, I'm going to stop recording for a minute while I shift this forwards. Why did that not get that? Surely I can get that. Yeah, then I would have stopped recording. It just seems rather silly that it's got to surely get that. Yeah, it has. Right, smash it. I'm going to stop recording for a minute, and I'm going to see you when I've shifted this along. See you shortly. Yeah, the little case can't quite manage this 18 tons of water as well. It really struggles, which it did last time. So again, it seems to have clashes with other mods and clashes with almost everything. So yeah, it may be one of those tractors. I think it's been in my mods for a while, but if it's that much of a pain, then I seriously think it may be one that is being removed, because it has been there a while. So if there were any faults with the tractor, I would have expected, truthfully, for them to be sorted by now. I'm starting to get a bit ruthless with things like that. Literally. In fact, let's fill this up as well. Yeah, I didn't mean to do this. I actually meant to just drop it in place. I suppose I could have put the case on it for that. But yeah. So that's reached its limit. Smashing. So we've got 100 tons in there with all the work we've done with that. The potatoes has got a limit. I've stuck the trailer full. I think was it 35? Yeah, it's got to be a full trailer, I think, and it had less than that. So we will have a look at that. Just start this filling again, so it's ready for when we, because it would let go of quite a lot of water, get through quite a lot of water. So all I should need to do now is and shift the original belt's not quite in the right place. And again, this should actually, yeah, your engine's running. Just need to get that in the right place. Well, it does seem to. No, that is actually working. Smash it. I thought the other belt was playing up again, but it wasn't. Right, so we'll just stay in this, get this done, and then shift it along. Yeah, it's. I do like this actually. I wasn't sure how it would work, if it would work. I did think it would work. I wasn't sure about the pickup. I thought we might need a special one, but no, this is fantastic for a very cheap means of harvesting for little farmers like ourselves. It's absolutely amazing. It truly is. I'm well impressed. And as we know, the pickup on this is amazing. So yes, it's a little faffy, and I don't think I'd fancy doing this on a huge field because it would take you forever. But in real life, if you've got time as a farmer but you hadn't got money, this is an option. And our little field, this is, yeah, I don't mind rolling around. It's certainly getting, I mean, we are, well, no, you can't really tell. Yeah, and it's also widening out in places. So yeah, let's try and get that a little bit there. So I think that should be. Should be able to get that shortly. Yeah, I'm gonna say. Right. Let's get this lot, and yeah, then I'm gonna shift the belts again. Not sure of its range, whether I've got it too close to this side. I would say I have. Yeah, again, some of it is, as I said, really, because I suppose the bad thing is if you went too far the other way, then you wouldn't be able to get to the edge of the field, and that's just as bad, so, yeah. Yes, I can imagine with one that's twice as fast, if it's, say, when I tested it I think it was day of release or a couple of days afterwards, the Mark IIs, let me show you what I mean. Not in the belt systems. Yeah, there's the original, and then there's further down, there is the Mark II. Now, when I tested this, it didn't work at all, and then there's the Mark II, that one, and there's the Mark II, that one. So yes, they are twice as fast. Well, no, 15 kph. Where the others are they 5? Yeah, so 3 times faster. If they are now working, that would be worth spending the extra money. I really wouldn't mind doing that at all, because this is the bit that I find a little bit faffy. It's the speed. Look at that. That is amazing. I think we'll get a little bit more there. Yeah, I missed that first bit. When we shifted it the second time, I'd missed that first chance to do that. So look, I think. Yeah, that'll. Oh no, there's a bit there. No points in moving if we've actually already done. Yeah, that is it. Smashing. Right, I'm going to switch the cameras off a minute, and we'll get that last little bit done on this side, and then we're going to shift further down the field. So I'm going to see you shortly. I thought I'd quickly on this time, I was going to do this last time, show you just what I meant by how this is. It's backwards for forwards and forwards for backwards, but it's me trying to move it, and it is really fighting me. You can see it's slightly moving, but not by a lot. Yeah, in fact you can see it swaying, and that's gone the wrong way. So yes, you've got to. It's very good at moving though, so you can compensate. You can nudge and it is even the wheels. I thought I needed to sort of get the wheels end right last time, but yeah, you can quite nicely push that, and it is not resistive, so it does compensate for that. So it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. It's not bad at all. No, actually, we'll use the big green machine for that. Yeah, we shall hook this up, get this last little bit done of this end of the field, I might add. I wish we were at the end of the job, I really do. Am I right? Not quite. It is quite exact, which I think the video that I watched said. And yet sometimes you can go quite a long way out, but it's a little bit, yeah. Right, let's get this. Yeah, we've got some tonnage in there. I say it's not, yeah, I mean it's not fast as if you were putting it from one of those, the normal harvesters, but then they are expensive, so that was under 10,000. And if that other one does the home topper as well, if it does, I'm not sure if I got the wrong end of the stick with that. With it, the reading to me wasn't quite sure what it actually meant. Right, so then that's not quite right. Let's get that in the right position. And that should be. Yeah, brilliant. Smashing. We're going to get that, we shall see. Yeah, let's just watch. 149,000, so we've got 80 odd thousand before we can afford our fields. Are we going to miss the sunflower harvest? That is true. When is the sunflower? I think that's quite late. I think we will though, if I'm honest. I was looking at this. Yeah, sunflowers October, November. So we may or may not get that. I think we'll miss it. I think back end. I think the oh no, November. But then it depends on the timing. Yeah, I think we will probably miss out on that, which is a shame. It really is. It is what it is. Oh, wow, I think I'm going to have to move this. I don't think I'm going to quite get that edge of the field, which is typical. Yeah, I think it's going to reach almost to the edge and make us move it one more time. Which is not the end of the world. No. Fantastic. Is it not amazing that the pickup on these? Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I am right. Look, it's leaving that entire two lines, so I suppose if that is the case, I really ought to shift this just forwards a couple of feet to grab that. I think we can get a little bit more. No point in moving this unduly. Wow, that is amazing. Look at that, what we've actually achieved. Right, that's... say I don't think we needed to move a lot, if I'm honest. I'd say that was about there. Let's disconnect that. Ooh. Let's grab you and move you forwards, and you actually stayed on course. Lovely. Now that makes a nice change. Let's grab you. I think we're about perfect. Yeah, the other faffing obviously of moving it all. Yeah, I think again 2 belts is the quantum is the most difficult belt. Even unwrapping the quantum I always find difficult because it's you've got to like, and then you've got to put it back together when you've finished. So right, oh, excellent. Just need to get 28 tools. Yeah, this is the last bit I would say. We'll empty it before we shift on. So that's actually, we've not done badly off this. Fuel, right, okay, yeah, we will go and do this straight away. In fact, we're going to do that now. Is that it? Ah, it was until we shift. Right, fuel. I'm so glad of that. Absolutely amazing mod, the fuel, low fuel level warning. Fantastic. The amount of times on FS22 I have actually run out of fuel. Unbelievable. I'd say at some point we're going to have to fill this up. Can you see how much you've got in there? Yes, you can. Wow, it's not bad. We only put 1,000 litres in. I think. I'm sure I'm right. Right, okay. Yeah, we should just quickly finish this end of the field. Then I'm going to stop recording whilst we shift the equipment further down onto the fields. And I'm going to try and gauge it better. Is that filled? No, 83%. We should be able to manage this last little bit, I would say. Yeah, that's that. And then this little bit. do a little bit better than that. I do. I think if we... Yeah, if you imagine this being twice as fast as this, manoeuvrability-wise, it would make a huge difference, even if it was just this. Yeah, I was going to say, I think I can do a bit better than that. Not a lot, though, but yeah. Yeah, actually, I think that's not a bad idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the edge here and then shift the equipment just like that to go laterally along this line now. I don't think that's a bad idea. Right, I'm going to stop recording because this is the bit that's faffy. Right, see you shortly. Right, shifted it in place again. I did empty the trailer. It's a bit of a slow thing. It's got some... I switched on the help menu and it said like open sidewalls, but it says not whilst it's full, so I'm not sure what that is about. And obviously we're filling it again. We might investigate after this because this Grimmy pack is quite new. So yes, it would be interesting to find out what we can do with it. If it's got something special. I'm sure is this a Pepe 978? I can't really check, can I? Without going, well, I could go into the model and show you the screen that way, I suppose. But I find that a bit messy because you can see my desktop then on Windows, and yes, I did do that once on one of the Hobos Hollow ones, Hobos Hollow, to show you the folders for the mods. So, Hen had a good idea about crossplay, but I've got two versions. I've got the Giants version and I've got the Steam version. The one bad thing is, unfortunately, they share the same folder structure for the mods and for your saves. So, yeah, what my idea was, I was going to do a crossplay version with one of them and then a non-crossplay with the other. It would be very faffy to be able to grab. Yeah, if I was going to go from crossplay to normal, I'd either have to go completely crossplay or completely PC. And I've got to be honest, I don't mind. I mean, I've done on my original No Man's Land, we did manual for everything, and I did do courseplay in time, but to begin with, I was only me doing everything, so I'm not afraid of hard work. I often pick up, because nothing's perfect, not even courseplay, but it is very, very reliable for speeding things up, and far more reliable than the in-game workers. But I could learn to manage just in-game workers. Follow me. Yeah, don't particularly find it that fantastic. I could live without. Definitely on FS22, or as FS19 I would have felt like my right hand was chopped off. But yeah, definitely I could do with the non-scripting mods. I could live without them, definitely. Yeah, it wouldn't bother me unduly. Right, let's try and get this good thing, and then we should stop recording whilst I shift the equipment. It doesn't take long though, I've got to be honest. Yeah, this would work. It's not too... I'd say, I think if you had got a large field to do, then truthfully it would be rather daunting. I shifted this with a tractor. Yeah, literally, in fact I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to literally grab this because it turns better and it is quicker. You just got to... it's a bit faffy, the last bit, but it does seem to travel. Just grab into it. Yeah, you've got to unfold it so it looks like the silver end again. Do you love the way it puts it at the top end where the thing is? It puts that. It's very clever. I do like it. Now I understand it. Again, this is another mod that is just off the bat. Use a bit of a learning curve to it, but is it worth that learning curve? Absolutely, it is. Definitely worth that learning curve. So you let go here. Give yourself just enough room to get out with your tractor. Smaller is better in this instance, definitely. And jump in that. Not sure if this is better to be steered without or with. Yeah, it doesn't make much difference. It's still as willful. Yeah, it's wanting to turn, and I'm not even turning it. So, right, let's nudge that back with the tractor. It is very highly nudgeable. So it's, although obviously it's supposed to simulate by hand, but I'm quite sure if you were moving that by hand, you could still steer it. But yeah, it's not perfect, is it? It's not that easy to get something like a mod working like in real life. Yeah, because I can shift that, that's not a problem. Let's get this hooked up, get the trailer moved, and yeah, we shall start this end. In fact, yeah, I'm going to keep it recording. No point in stopping and starting now. It's only shifting the trailer. Yeah, so that's what I was saying about Faffy. Yeah, it's almost 90 degrees. And you can be quite far out, it's just you've got to be 90 degrees, so wow. For 16 tons, nearly 17 tons. Yeah, I'm loving this. Yeah, we might be able to do that other potato. Yeah, it's not about doing this. If you're going to do a specific product and there's a good mod, is that? I'd say so. It's probably the original belt, not quite in the right place. It is. Smashing. Yeah, this is probably just going to be about shifting the potatoes, but then again, it's a job we've got to do on the farm, isn't it? So it's not. Yeah, it is what it is. I would say that it's the farm that dictates the jobs that you've got. The other thing, as I was saying as well, I was right. That emotional event, which was, yeah, I'm going to share now. I'm not going to keep it a secret for long. I lost my job a couple of days ago, but I have been re-employed the day after I went for an interview. Not going to share too much details. I think I've said that the company I worked for was not a nice company, and they were involved in a very underhand scheme to get rid of me before I had the legal right of a 2-year. You've got to be in Britain. There's obviously employment law, and the bottom line is, if you haven't been employed for 2 years, your employer has got massive rights, and you as an employee have got very little rights. Now, my employer is not very nice. There are many stories. I'm not going to tell you who my employer is, but just as I said, we are living in very nasty times where horrible companies that have got no morals are allowed to really get away with terrible things because they know how to use the law. My absolute boss knows exactly how to use the law to his advantage, and with a technicality got rid of me because he could. Yeah, clash of personalities. I go by the book. I think you probably get that impression from the way I play the game. I don't like cheating of any sort, which also means illegal practices or dodgy practices. I was taught when I worked for Derbyshire County Council to use GDPR. I literally went on GDPR training, and a lot of people, including myself, I'm not a fan of GDPR, but nevertheless it is law. So therefore, as law, I follow its practices, even though I don't agree with snitching on things. Morally, I'm going to be guided by a moral code over a code that says you've got to do something. But to the letter of the law, I will try to work and also train employees on GDPR so that people can. And I'm not going to go into this too great. Yeah, I could waffle on about this for ages. But yeah, bottom line is, I follow practices. Again, I wouldn't want our company to lose money, so I wouldn't turn a blind eye to breaking the law. That's obvious. I think you all know me well enough for that anyway, to know that that's not who I am. I like things to be done fairly. But my company sees such things as probably barriers that stop them earning money. Well, let's shift this. Let's try and gauge this as well. Let's shift this here. I'm trying to get this section done. See how good a turning. I think that's probably not quite right. Yeah, I will, because I'm talking, I will. Yeah, right, so let's disconnect you. yeah, so he sees such things as it's, yeah, they stop the company making money to the right. So therefore, I came at loggerheads with my boss because I think he saw me as a threat to the way that he wanted to run his business, and we did have character clashes. Although he's not a very brave man, not very brave at all, and he is an older CEO. And I'm quite a well-built sort of chap, so yeah, I probably am physically intimidating to someone like him, who's not very brave really, but very good at law. He knows the law, yeah, as I've just sort of said, but as in he's got no morality. No, not where it comes to, and I really do mean that, having crossed swords with him, losing my job 5 days before I would have reached the 2-year limit. I truly know that I think he basically summed up at the end of the letter the termination of my contract, as he called it. Yeah, let's just redo that. He basically summed up that you have no rights to appeal, and that is definitely true. I'm a member of a union. I spoke to the union, and they pretty much summed it up as well, so that I really have no rights, which is rather a shame that people, good honest people, can get fired by devious, amoral people with no scruples whatsoever just because they are a CEO. Yeah, it's awful. I was gutted, really gutted. Now I'm not surprised, really not surprised by what went on, because they've been playing cat and mouse with me for, wow, that did feel quickly. Yeah, they've been playing cat and mouse, trying to, and I've been talking to the union to try to resist, because I didn't quite think that they would go to the lengths that they have gone to, but my union basically advised, look, be careful, don't do anything at all that is going to make you lose your job. Just do everything by the book. I've been receiving horrible emails from my line manager, who is part of the senior management team, and head of HR, who also followed the CEOs. A colleague called them the unholy trio at work, who I will not name her name, but yeah, I actually agree. The three of them worked well, and if you've got three people willing to turn a blind eye to the law and what is right, then to be honest, your time is up. And it is true, I wasn't quite sure that they would go to the lengths that they did do, but yeah, they did. It was quite amazing. I sent an email to basically ask why I was being investigated, on what grounds, and also said that none of them were IT experts, so why was I being judged on IT matters by, although they'd got rank within the company, and that was enough for them to have an excuse, because they knew they were running out of time, for them to call me almost instantly. The second that email was sent, I got a call from my line manager to go to a meeting. We've got a finance office where lots of people work. I went into that office, and there were my line manager, who is the head of finance, and the head of HR, and the office was cleared. And at that point, when I walked in, they called the CEO, who came down with just those two people in the room, and a pre-prepared letter. Bearing in mind, 5 minutes had passed real time between me sending this email and them coming into me to have this word. He pulled out a letter and said that I wasn't engaging in the processes of the company, which I was. I merely questioned the fact on what grounds did they have for disciplining me. And I got a pre-prepared letter which basically summed up by saying that it did say I wasn't engaging in the processes, which that's a matter of opinion. It is, truly. And they said that I had no rights to appeal because I wasn't within the 2-year limit that the law does. So it was when you sort of see how the law can be used against you, and I was told by my union that they're not even going to bother to fight for me because, 2 years. So I find the law has been used really to fire me, and I have absolutely no rights whatsoever to appeal such a horrible situation. The thing that gripes me the most is, sorry this has become a thing, but yeah, it's I suppose, yeah, the other thing is I am fair. I don't like this type of thing, and it's not for me. The thing that is, my boss has not just done this one time. No, I can get that. I thought, that's true. If I do that's true, because it's only a little bit. If I sort of faff in and out, I should be able to grab that little bit by just going like that, shouldn't I? No, that's full. So yeah, I'll do that twice, and that's not a bad way of getting little tiny bits like that. Yeah, I'm not bothered about myself. I'd already foreseen where this could have gone, and on the day before I was fired, I went for a final interview for a job, which I now have got. So I'm not. In fact, I have got a pay rise as well. So yeah, I am quite happy with and also for what I think is going to be a nice company. I got a very good feel of this company, whereas obviously the company I worked for is, what they do is fair. I mean, I'm not going to say what it is, because that would give away way too much, and then people would start to cross-reference with my location and possible places of employment, and I don't want to be involved in a lawsuit, because I do believe I think the one thing that always got me was you have to sign up for a confidentiality agreement. Now, why would they want confidentiality? It's not like if this was working for the Ministry of Defence or something like that, I know I would understand that, but now I understand only too well the confidentiality, so I can't squeal about how awful the company is and give the company's name about, but I can remain that they are anonymous, and I can do all that I like, because that's not me telling you who the company is or who the individuals involved are. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, at this point, I am not doing anything illegal. Yeah, because I'm not revealing who that is. So there is anonymity to the bad practices of this horrible company, which is of course why that they want such a thing to be like that. To me, I just feel when terrible people do things like that and abuse the law, it makes a mockery out of the law. Yeah, it is horrible. It really is, the way that I have been treated, and not just myself. The CEO's been in power for 20 years, so I'm sure you can imagine how good he is at that type of thing. He's got his practices perfected. There are many horrible stories, which unfortunately I only too much agree that they probably are all true, having gone through this myself. And yeah, I just wanted to sort of say out there, this is not the sort of thing that normally people talk about, but it's not something that bad people should get away with. It really isn't. It's disgraceful. It truly is. And then of course the fact that the unions basically, in fact I don't think they've even been in touch since that thing where I said basically, yeah, I'm out of luck basically. They can't do anything for me. Nothing at all. So I'm quite disgusted really. It's only the second time in my life I've been in a union. Wrong one. The first time the unions let me down, so I always vowed I never would join a union again. But because of how horrible the company is, there's been a movement to try to get the union into the company to get recognition. You need 20 members, and we were getting very close. So I thought, it's not about me anymore. It's about trying to get the union in for other people, because whether my case works or not, the union coming into a bad company like I was, an employee of, it's got to be a good thing for those employees that are left, and I think that is true. So I joined the union, and then a few weeks later, obviously things got worse, and obviously, yeah, the rest is history. I've lost my job now, and I'm glad. I am. The stress of fighting management, knowing that they are trying to find excuses to get rid of you, is not a very nice place to be. And I did know that. The union warned me that, and also did ask me how long I'd been there, and then it became the 2-year rule, and I knew at that point that the company were obviously going to look really at trying to fire me. And yeah, as I say, they did. The last excuse was just truly an excuse. There was no real grounds. Again, very clever though, I've got to be honest. As head of IT, I am obviously responsible for the IT equipment and the general day-to-day running in the company. If you'd seen the list of why are you not popping? Let's just see, am I not quite the right angle? Wow, you really are very particular. Yes, I've been accused of all manner of software failures for other companies. I got a list of 12 things, all on the surface, which I've got to be honest, if I was somebody reading that, I'd think, oh wow, yeah, this guy really does deserve to be fired. But again, only on the surface. If you, now that bell's got a lot of storage area. Wow. That's got quite some storage. I didn't realise it got that much storage in the belt itself. Yes, I would say that on the surface that anyone would quite believe that I was a terrible IT manager until you start to investigate. And that is what I'm saying about how clever bad people can be. They really can be very clever at making things look bad. But if you start to ask questions, I was blamed for we use specialist software. Again, I'm going to be very careful on what I say, because you would then guess what industry. In fact, no, I have already said that in previous videos, so you could piece together a little bit too much. Yeah, we use a special piece of software. I think I even mentioned the software, so it's no good sort of keeping it a secret. We use a piece of software called Vista Entertainment. Very good piece of software, but very finicky, and there have been problems all the way through the time, and it was my CEO, I believe, that was the one who wanted the software in the first place. Spent a lot of money in engaging with Vista, because it's not normally something a little independent cinema would use. It's usually the massive cinemas that would use this, like the household massive ones that we all go to. Yeah, the big chains, it usually is one of those, but our cinema's got quite a lot of clout, quite a lot of finance, because it's not just a cinema. I mentioned that. So this software, Vista, I got the blame for that. We also use a piece of software called Clarity, and likewise I got the blame for the piece of software not working, and not working for years. Well, I can't see how I can get the blame for a piece of software. I didn't make the software. I've engaged with the company at multiple things and never resisted them. Again, but a very clever one, because this list of 12 things, nearly all of which are software related, or failure of a system. I can't be responsible for a switch failing, but apparently that was all my fault. So yeah, firewall failures and things like that have all been blamed on me, which, well, yeah. Thank goodness most employers I've ever worked for before don't blame me if a switch goes bang, because it happens. It truly does. So yeah, it still hurts a little, which is why I was a bit reticent. Yeah, and why I think I forgot to hit record for what would have been session 11. That's obviously the missing session, because I was gutted. I really was gutted. I mean, I sort of half expected it. I'm no stranger to deviousness and how people are. Right. Anyway, let's because I am going to pull that back. I'm going to get that last little bit on the field there before moving. I think we're only going to need to move this one more time, if I'm honest. Yeah, a little bit down there. My favourite saying, if I'm honest. Yeah, so I'm still very gutted about it, but my biggest concern is not really for me, because I have the biggest shock was losing my job. I mean, and on such spurious charges with absolutely nothing proved whatsoever. But as I say, I'm unprotected by the law, so it's my boss, the person that he is, used that against me and has used that against many other people. I am on what they call, I think it's garden notice. Yeah, the company marched. This was the other thing that really hurt. I've got a lot of friends at the cinema. A lot of people that I feel very close to. I was frog marched out through the car park, which is downstairs, unable to say goodbye to anybody, unable to talk to anybody. I would imagine they've been issued with some sort of email, because nobody is talking to me. People that would have once spoken to me are not talking to me. So I'm imagining that they've been told, you are not allowed to talk to Mr. Smith. Yeah, which, yeah, I can quite imagine that would be the case. So yeah, it's still smarting, because obviously I couldn't even say goodbye to my friends, and they've been told, yeah, that they're not allowed to talk to me. I don't know what excuse has been used, but it really is awful. It truly is. It's absolutely gutted at the way things have gone down. But it is what it is. And I say the biggest thing is, sorry for wandering a little, but it's amazing with emotionally charged things how you do tend to do that. It isn't really a concern for me, because I've got another job. That was my biggest concern, and because I'd sort of half seen that, I did actually go for the job, and I was very fortunate in so much as I made a really good impression, and I've got the job. So I start work in a few weeks, and yeah, I've done all right. But that's not my concern. It is the people who have got to face this individual in the future, who seems to have all of the legal rights, and I have none. And I've tried to do right, even by the company itself. I didn't like my boss, as in I didn't like his practices, or I didn't actually like him as a human being either. He's not. I've never met a person that is so he's got no empathy, absolutely no empathy, which I'm quite sure you can imagine, or he wouldn't really pull the stunts that he did. But I've never met a person that was so unreadable. I'm usually fairly good at body language. This person is a stone. Yeah, you cannot read, and I think, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's becoming character assassination, and that would then look bad, really. So yeah. It is truth. It's not something I alone have said, actually. I can't really say that. Yeah, in fact, I'm not really saying anything other than the fact that he has no empathy, and which is true. I mean, of course, that is a matter of opinion, but they're not just mine. Yeah, I don't want us to go into that, to say that's not my intention at all. My intention is the fact that I'm worried about the people who've got to face this very powerful individual, the top person in the company, who seems untouchable. And not only that, when he's got the backing of other people in the SMT who would just do what he's bidding without any kind of thing. That's what I said, our company's Freddie, diversity, all these things that they go on about being fair and investors in diversity. It's all a front. It's so horrible when the reality is that they can get away with horrible things and stamp on people's lives. And I say, it's not me I'm worried about, not this time, because it's the people who are going into the company now, my replacement, all of the people that have got to face this individual with absolutely no morality, who will use the law as his weapon. It's horrible. Really is. Anyway, that is as much my wife, as she said to me, you've got to let it go, no matter what, whether you're in the right, the wrong, whatever, you've got to let it go, because it's going to eat you up. And it is true, but it just needed to say, because sometimes these things, it's not nice when people get away with this type of horror. It really isn't. And I've always thought Britain is a very non-corrupt place, really. And I would think our legal system, I would say, is probably one of the best in the world. I mean, corruption exists everywhere, it's true. Some countries are famous for corruption and bribery and things like that, whereas Britain isn't one of those countries that's famous or infamous for that. But obviously corruption still goes on. But when you see someone abuse the law like this individual has, and with no repercussions, and being told even by the unions that you're sorry, but it is what it is, there's nothing we can do for you. It is awful. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't wish to let the matter drop, but again, not for myself. But I don't know how to handle a matter. Yeah, nobody seems to think I've got a chance. I don't even think you've got a case for unfair dismissal because of the fact you didn't reach 2 years. But as I say, it's early days. I am going to look. I've got a few. My notice period, garden notice, so I am at home. So I have got a few weeks to look into this matter, and I think I may well do, because it's just not right. Yeah, not for me, as I say. I'm glad I'm out of it, but it's the people who are going to go. There's been many cases of this happening to others as well. That's the thing that gets me the most. It's the fact that, yeah, it's that he's got away with this and he's hurting people's lives. It's just not right. So I'm feeling quite good now, because at least I have got a job with what looks like a good company. So I'm not worried for myself, but yeah, it's those other people. Right, anyway, let's let that go, and let's... Oh, it does turn nicely if it's done, as I said originally, slowly. You just got to not charge around like a bull at a gate, which, as you all know, is my usual way of doing things. Anyway, let's get back to a bit of nice farming and escape the harshness of what, well, it's not, life isn't harsh all of the time, is it? But yeah, when you get a sour taste in your mouth, I mean, I'm no, is it shrinking violet, or is that the right word in this instance? Yeah, I'm not a stranger to, nor am I an 18-year-old who thinks the world is a wonderful place where nothing ever goes wrong, with no experience of the realities of life, where you meet horrible people. Yeah, it is the norm. You will do. Yeah. That is turning a bit this side. Ah, that's better. That's actually turning a little. Ah, well, no, that's perfect actually. That's strange. Wouldn't do that for the rest of the field, but I mean, it is a flat field as well, so yes, I might talk a little bit about it, but also I should be guided by yourselves. You might not want to hear about it, but I didn't want to keep it a secret. I think secrecy breeds more secrecy, and while nasty people like my ex-boss are around, the world is a horrible place, and the law shouldn't be protecting very bad people. What's the old saying? Absolute power corrupts and absolute power corrupts. No, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Let's get the quote right at least. Right, let's get that in. I think I should be. Yeah, in the right place. It is true. And obviously the higher the power goes as well, the more people can abuse power. It doesn't say they will. Yeah, as I say, corruption is, you can see it at all levels, governmental levels and everything, and some countries are worse than others. That doesn't mean to say no corruption happens in Britain, because of course it does. Right, how are we doing? Yeah, still got plenty of room. I'd like to see how we've done out of this, because I think we've done quite well. Let's get this angle right. Yeah, this is going to be quite a long session, but yeah, I did know that. I could have done a time lapse, but again, I just wanted to talk to you about these type of horrible situations, truthfully. But I say I'm all right, because I've literally I've done all right out of this. Yeah, in every sort of way, shape, and form. It's just the emotional event that's still, and again, I say it's not really for myself. It really is. What really annoys me is the fact that other people have got to face this monster, and he is going to do this again because he's already done it many times. Yeah, many times. There are lots of stories which, having gone through this, I realise they're not just stories. I mean, I never did, because I got to know my boss over the last almost 2 years, to know him well enough to know that, yeah, there's quite a bit of, yeah, I think I'm going to have to, I'll do this off screen, but you can see there's quite a bit of potatoes actually still left in this area here, which I think would have been the turnaround. So yeah, I think I'm going to see if I can grab some spuds from this bit. Although, no, do you know, I think we're looking at what we've got, we've done well enough. going to shift it. I'm not going to do this the cheating way. I'm going to move it up one more time, and we're going to get this little area finished. Yeah, it's the last bit. It's nice, that is. It's a nice feeling. The last bit. Yeah. So it all for me ended well, but it's not that. I mean, we live in turbulent times financially. I mean, let's face it, in Britain alone, I mean, the price of everything is skyrocketing. It really is terrible. We're all of us moaning every week that things have gone up 70 pence since the week before, and that's not an exaggeration. It really can be that severe. I mean, the weird thing is, obviously, you can go from one shop to another, and one shop can still do it at the old price, so you're like thinking some of this is just taking the mick, it's just abusing the situation, and I do think that is true. I do. Well, it's got to be, because if one shop can afford to sell it at the old price, then so can the other shop. Yeah, it's just greed. Rip off Britain, as we have a reputation for, which is horrible. It really is. Right, I think this is going to need emptying. Well, it's going to be close, but I would say so. Let's just use it until it's filled first. No point in running backwards and forwards. Yeah, but I would be interested in seeing. I think we've definitely got well over 100 tons. So this is not far. Of course. Yeah, this is the one thing. Obviously, choice of fields. I mean, especially on hard economy, we are getting a nice bonus, aren't we? Thinking about this, our fields is one of the best on the map. Is it precision farming that's going to show that? It is. No, it's when you buy the field, isn't it? If you do that, it tells you, yeah, 100. We get a 14% bonus just for the fact that it is what it is. Let's have a look at the precision farming as well. Actually, then, if you look at that, that is all loam. The potatoes are all loam, which means, although it's a 14% overall, that's going to be a 20% bonus for this particular side of the field. Even though it doesn't look like that on paper, that's going to have a lesser yield on that side because it's got only a little bit of loam. So this entire field here is our best side of the field. It'll be very interesting to see what we actually get, yeah, from this. Right, let's hook that up. Let's chatter in more work. Yeah. So yes, I might. Again, I want your reaction, because this is not. Yeah, it's not something we talk about a lot, but it's also not something I think that people should get away with this type of behaviour. So I just want your opinions on this. I really do. See what you think. I would be interested. It's not going to take long, is it? 88%, I think, for that to fill. Let's get that twisted. Let's get that little bit done first. Yeah, the thing is, you never know who's watching. It may be somebody who, from a legal background or whatever, who's willing just to give me a little bit of advice. Yeah, what I could do. You never know. Yeah. The more you keep horrible things secret, the more. What's that very old saying? It's this is paraphrase. It's not the exact saying, but all that matters for evil to thrive is good. It said good men, but it means good people do nothing, and it is true. Evil does prosper whilst good people stay quiet. I mean, obviously, if I hadn't got another job, it's like, I mean, I could fight this. I don't know what my rights are. Again, if it's this 2-year rule, then I'm already lost before I even go through the door, which is horrible, because there's obviously a lot of circumstantial evidence to prove how awful I have been treated. Now I think I can do the little trick for this. Let's get the angle right, and then we can just move it backwards and forwards. Not sure what the storage is like on the belt. I think the trailer is filled. It's not about that this time. Right, we'll have a quick look while this is emptying as well. We're going to pop over to the production, because I'm about to wrap up, but yeah, not saying this for any other reason that really just to... Well, no, it isn't for me. It really isn't, as I say, because I'm over the worst. I've got another job, so that was the worst, my worst fear at this time of year, losing my job and actually having to find it. Right, potatoes. Yeah, so it was 100 tons. Oh wow, we've done much better than I thought then. Much better. Now this is interesting because the field on Attingham is very large, and we did 200 tons of potatoes. Oh my life, how can this small half of a field produce more than that big field on Attingham? That makes no sense to me. I'm not complaining, of course. I mean, that's 230 tons and counting. Oh wow, 240 something. And whatever's left of that's amazing. Did I not? Yeah, I did. I did fertilise my fields perfectly, the same as we did here. That's phenomenal. I'm bowled over in a good way. That is going to stand us in good stead for that thing. 250 tons from that. It does go to show as well the fact that that's the one thing that's on our... that is helping us, is the fact that this field has got such a fantastic bonus. Is almost... well, it's not compensating for hard economy, but it certainly is helping us, definitely. Yeah, obviously each and everything that we do, especially on this side of the field, now that we know that, I didn't realise that until just looking. You don't always look with... let's have a look. Yeah, now I realise that that's amazing. So this is always going to be the highest yield. I think that's probably going to get everything. Right, there's a little bit on the edge of the field there. Well, I think that is it. So I'm going to... yeah, let's unfold that and switch it off. And let's grab you. Ah, no, you're connected on, so I need to disconnect you. And unfold you. Let's get this in. Oh, it's 6.5 tons. Let's have a proper count, and then I am going to say my goodbyes. Yeah, so my concern is for those who remain. I've got some very good friends there who've got to put up with all of the shenanigans that happen. The other thing is, when bad people stand uncontested, and he's had over 20 years to perfect his horrible use or misuse of the law, and his knowledge is obviously grown, but also so is the confidence, which means bad people, it's a bit like any kind of serial killer. They usually perfect their horrible skills in little ways. They'll start in small ways, probably on animals, and then move up to humans. Any kind of evil, whatever it is, starts little and then grows. The more bad people take liberties, the more they think they can. So it's, yeah, it is horrible as happened to me, but that, my biggest concern is, what lengths will they go to knowing that they've got away with this going forwards? It is awful. It really is absolutely terrible that bad people can get away with this. And as I say, it really isn't. I'm not concerned for myself. I'm really not. Not now. I'm. It's just the other people that are left. Don't go too far back, or you may well not find it. So yes, any comments? But I've not really said this for anything other than... is that... let's have a look on the map, because that is that. Just want to make sure that the potatoes... oh, let's look for the harvested, because... no, it is. I was right. So actually there is... no, it's just the animation's not right. Well, it is totally harvested on both sides. So that's that. I'm happy with that. That's good. Anyway, yeah, I would like to leave this in a good state. It's just I wanted to share that because it is horrible when bad people get away with bad things. I just don't like a very sour taste in my mouth for other people now. Really is, because I've come off better in a way. My new job pays me much better than my old. So right, let's lower that. At least it's got a lower centre of gravity. It's got less chance of collapsing if I go reasonably slowly, which I'm going to hopefully not zip around at 90 mile an hour. although I think I need to, yeah, it's so long, I need to turn it a little bit more. This is where it does get a bit, you've got to be careful with the turns. This is where I overturned it that last time. You can see it fights you. Right, let's go and stick this over there. Well, I would say I'm quite pleased with that, and it wasn't too faffy. I will put the quantum away. Yeah, because of course that's the thing. I would love it if it had a proper end where you could tow it like that, because I'd leave it unfilled all the time, but you've got to fold it back up and then drag it as it is. I always find that a right absolute pain. Right, let's go really deep in. In fact, yeah, no, I'm a little bit too, that's my trouble, overdo it. Alright, let's like that, so we can still hook up, and it also, no, I think we can do a better job than that. I think we need to reverse in to keep it out of the way, because this is a perfect place for tractors to turn around up this end, so probably better if I... Oh, I'm hitting the course, I am forgetting its length. I am hitting the back wall of the map, aren't I? So, let's do it that way. Still keep a bit of turning space for tractors and trailers when the field has actually got fruit in it. Yeah, that's not bad. That's it now. Just hit the back wall. Right, and that is where I'm going to leave it. So yes. Oh no, I'm not. I am going to. Yeah, I'm going to carry on for a few minutes. Let's have a look. Did I? Yeah, make sure you did. Yeah, I did. How much have we got in total then? In the end, 153 tons in this, and that other 100, well, almost 100 tons, so 253 tons off this little field, this little half of our field. That is absolutely astronomical and phenomenal. I am blown away with that. It's amazing, it truly is. I do think I'm right, I'm going to stick this round there as deep as I possibly can, so we can still pull it forwards when this is replanted. Now that is the point. What are we putting in this? What did we say? Oh, we shall have a look in a sec actually. Yeah, that is a valid use of our time. It is going to be a bit of a bump. I apologise for that. This is probably going to be one of the longest sessions I've done in a while. I've been getting quite good, but I needed to get it off my chest, and as I say, not really out of concern for myself, but it's for the other people, yeah, the future employees of that horrible company, which sounds so promising and so good. So we've got canola, didn't we want oil and wheat and barley? We're going to do barley and canola, I think. Yes, definitely. Right, and on that note, I am literally this time going, so we have done very well. No, I will. I'm going to return that, the harvester, so it will be gone. Yeah, because I'd like to test the other one next time to see if I'm right, and if I'm wrong, because obviously, again, I've said that before, if I at least the other one and I'm right that it just drags it off the top, then, yeah, I will send it back, because I would prefer to do it as we've done it today. That was quite alright actually. I wouldn't want to do it on a massive field, but it is doable. Even then, it would just probably take an hour to actually, which, when you consider the old spinners they used to use in Britain when I was a kid, a youngster at school, one of the farmers employed spinners, and loads of kids got paid a tenner. And we all helped to load the taters into bags on there. It was like mass, and it was, yeah, things went on like that in Britain for, yeah, just a few years ago, and it was a fantastic way. Everyone won. The kids got a tenner. They worked hard, gave them a taste of work at school, and the farmer won as well. So yeah, things like that are now, I think they've been stopped, but things have been gone on for that for generations. They truly have. It's ludicrous, but hey ho, it is progress. Anyway, enough waffling and raging against the world. Yeah, I do apologise if it probably has got a little bit heavy, but sometimes I think these things have got to be spoken about. So yeah, I do invite your comments on this matter. Yeah, and I'm going to say I really do hope you stick with me. It will not be talking about this type of matter normally. I do try to keep life separate from Farming Simulator, but sometimes, yeah, you can't let evil thrive and do nothing, can you? Otherwise, I'm as bad as as all other evil people. I'm inviting it and allowing it to grow without fighting it, and that's not good. Anyway, yes, enough waffling. I really am going this time. Yeah, I am going to say goodbye for now.